Hello everyone, my name is Sanjeeth. This is my third module from Kids Public Speaking Ara Damansara. Today, I'm going to talk about goal number 13, climate change. Have you noticed any difference in the climate between 1990 and 2020? Have you been concerned about wildlife that used to roam freely but now endangered or extinct? Raise your hands if you agree with one or both of these questions. If yes, then you are correct. In the 30-year-long difference, the world has changed. Climate change and global warming has becoming a major threat in the 21st century. But before I present you what the causes of climate change and its effects, let me present you the 17 SDG goals. The 17 SDGs. The 17 SDGs are adopted by the 2015 UN conference as part of the 2030 plans. These are all the problems we face as humanity and how the UN is trying to fix these problems. First, what is climate change? Climate change refers to long-term shift in weather patterns and temperatures. Usually they are natural, but since the 1800s, human activities is the main driver of climate change, mainly burning fossil fuels. Causes of climate change. There are several causes of climate change, but I'm going to talk about 3 causes. Deforestation. Urbanization creates a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. Majority of it is CO2. Trees are the main source where CO2 is absorbed. Cutting down trees reduce CO2 absorption. Deforestation is the clearing of forested land. Since the 1800s to modern times, most of these forests are raised for agricultural purposes as well as grazing land for animals. Industrialization. Burning fossil fuels creates a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution in the 1750s, burning fossil fuels increase greenhouse gases concentration to our atmosphere. Transports and vehicles. Transports of vehicles are the main producer of greenhouse gas emissions. In the US alone, 27% of all greenhouse gas emission is produced by transports and vehicles. Now I talk about the causes of climate change. Now I'm going to talk about the effects. First, rising sea level. Due to the change in weather patterns and increase in global temperatures, ice caps and glaciers started to melt. This permafrost, which is permanently frozen ice, is now melting in an alarming rate. This increased the sea level by 1 meter every year, and by 2100, 6 island nations are at risk of being underwater. Secondly, increase in global temperature. Burning fossil fuels creates a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. The ozone layer acts like a blanket. It prevents the greenhouse gases from escaping, and it traps the sunlight, which causes internal heating. Long-term droughts. Due to the change in weather pattern and increase in global temperature, water is evaporating much more rapidly. High temperature creates low precipitation. So there's a high chance for a long-term drought to occur. Heat waves. Heat waves are now becoming more common since the Earth has already gained additional 2 degrees Celsius. This makes summer much more longer, and winter, there's a huge loss of snow. For example, in the Europe heat wave 2022, the average temperature is 43 to 45 degrees Celsius, which is around comparable to Middle East temperature. Lastly, change in weather patterns and increase in natural disaster. Climate change is a phenomenon where it changes pre-existing climate patterns. This could affect biomes and ecosystems since they are already used to these weather patterns. They have serious consequences. For example, there will be low annual rainfall in certain areas which cause food shortages or droughts, and high annual rainfall which causes flooding. What are the targets for UN 2030? Part of the 2030 agenda, UN is trying to resolve both internal and external problems, for example, poverty or climate change. Solutions against climate change. There are several solutions, but I'm going to talk about three. The first solution is several countries have already started developing goal number 30, a solution to goal number 13. One of the biggest projects so far is the Great Green Wall. The Great Green Wall is a wall of forests, bushes, vegetation. It expands from Senegal to the west and Djibouti in the east. The wall, although the primary purpose is to stop the Sahara Desert expanding south, it also has secondary roles such as increasing the water supply or reducing the annual temperature. Secondly, we need to limit the use of fossil fuels. We need to limit the use of fossil fuels and start relying on renewable sources. So we could limit the production of greenhouse gas emission as well as toxic gases. We need to limit the fossil fuel consumption by 6%. So we could reduce 1.5 degrees Celsius of the Earth's global temperature. Protection for forests. In order to solve deforestation, we need to follow these 5 steps. 1, plant trees wherever you can. 2, try to go paperless at homes and offices. 3, buy recycled product and then recycle them later. 4, buy certified wood products. And 5, support companies that are willing to reduce deforestation. What will happen to our future? Although our future looks grim, we need to act now. Are we gonna let the world suffer if we had the chance to fix it? For example, a quote from David King: "Climate change is a much more serious threat, even more serious than terrorism." Thank you all for listening.
Well done.